Next, it's time to construct the ears. Every option for the views in this pattern has a different style of ears, so you want to just make sure you're looking in your guide sheet at the right steps for the ear you're making, but the process of making them is pretty much similar. It's mostly just that they're a different shape or size. So I'm looking at view D, so this is my pattern piece, and I have the contrast and the outer part, 2 of each. So then you're going to separate them, and you're going to put a contrast and a main fabric right sides together, and then you'll line up all the edges. And then you want to make sure you pay attention to the dots, that you should have transferred those. You're stitching just around this part with the 5/8 inch seam allowance. You're not going to stitch between the dots like it says in our guide sheet. Now I'm sewing the ears with 5/8 inch seam allowance, leaving between the dots unsewn. After I sew my ear seam, I'll want to just make sure I got that curve nice and smooth and go back and fix anything if I'm unhappy with how it looks. Then I'll repeat on the second ear. So that means I want to reduce some of the seam allowance around my curved seam here. I don't want to cut so close to the stitching that it's going to rip out. So I'd leave at least 1/4 inch. And then we will also do some notching. Notching on my convex curve, that means a curve that goes outward, will help the curve turn out more smoothly. So that's just cutting out little triangle shaped wedges from the curve here, about 1/2 inch apart. So about like that should help it turn out smooth. I might do one more right here. Then I can turn this right side out. Use a point turner to help you get the edges pushed all the way out. You don't want to have any fabric hiding in your seams. So that means that in these little folds, there's no extra fabric tucked in there. It's going to be pushed out the whole way. And then I'll repeat with the second ear. Next, the guide sheet says to baste this closed on the open edge. Some of the views call for putting a little bit of polyfill in here. You can look at your ear and kind of decide if you think you would like it to have more volume, and you could put in a little bit of polyfill to give that more shape and structure. Now I'm basting the open edge of the ears. Remember that a baste is a long stitch length, so you turn your stitch length all the way up to 5 on the machine, and you're going to just stitch close to the edge. I'd even do less than a 5/8 inch seam allowance, because this is just to help all the layers stay together as I prepare to attach it to the head. So I'm going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. No need to backstitch. This is just a temporary stitch.